You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
Sid is joining us now.
Sid is joining us. Is he on yet?
Yes, we have.
Directly from Israel.
I can't wait. Sid Rosenberg, you are right there. Of course, this is the 1-year anniversary of October 7th. Take it away. Explain what's going on there. It must be just so unbelievably emotional.
Well, for starters, Rita, John, and the whole crew, Judge, everybody else, it is no longer October 7th in Israel. Don't forget, we are 7 hours ahead of you. We are now officially Tuesday, October the 8th. Here in Israel. It's after midnight. But it was a very emotional day. It's going to be a very emotional week, as the judge can tell you, leading up to Yom Kippur on Saturday. I've got events every day. They're working very hard on getting Bibi Netanyahu on this program before the end of the week. President Trump was on with me this morning for the better part of 28 minutes. But my day started as many Israelis start their day, Rita, and that was I was in Sderot, which is a beautiful little town just outside of the Gaza border. They were devastated a year ago on October the 7th. In fact, they wiped out the whole police force. 70 cops killed that day. They actually had to tank down the police station after Hamas set it on fire and used it as their headquarters. Started my day there, and as we were preparing to start the program, there's about 20 people inside this building, guys, 10 men and 10 women, a lot of young girls. And I met everybody. They were very, very nice. And at one point, I heard 3 or 4 very loud booms. My body actually shook. It was that bad. Then I heard sirens, and one of these young ladies came running and screaming and crying, grabbed my hand, said, Sid, we must go. And she literally dragged me about 20 feet into the bomb shelter where the 20 of us sat together. Not a lot of room inside those spaces, guys. 20 of us stacked together until we were allowed to leave. So my day started today in Israel with explosions, sirens, and a bomb shelter. And a lot of Israelis go through that, guys, 20 times a day. That's how bad it is here. So we talk about Iran possibly getting ready, to show the world they've got nukes, which we've known back in July. Tony Blinken said it. This is no major story this week. We've known about this. But believe me when I tell you, Iran is so frustrated with these 2 major missile attacks back in April and one just last week, which hasn't killed one Israeli, guys. Not one. Billions of dollars in weaponry and 800 missiles. Not one Israeli has died. And at this point, Iran is angry. They're frustrated. They believe God is on Israel's side, and they are looking to do something very, very big. So is it tense here? You bet your ass it's tense here.
Said we broke the 5 o'clock news with breaking news that the so-called earthquake in Iran on Saturday night, some intelligence sources are saying that it could have been an underground nuclear test.
I believe it, John. Again, Tony Blinken, like I just said, came out in July and said Iran is a week or 2 away. That was July, so they've got it. They've been working on this for a long time. The Democrats out there listening right now, sorry, Judge, they can thank the Biden-Harris administration for all of this, for loosening all the sanctions that our friend President Trump put in place and letting go of billions and billions of dollars. So they've got it. There's no question in my mind. They are very, very, very close if they don't have it. And again, the issue becomes, John, Iran keeps trying to kill Israelis with their ballistic missiles, and they can't believe it. They can't believe that they have fired hundreds and hundreds of ballistic missiles and haven't killed one Israeli. Not one. They killed one veteran girl, and a Palestinian died last week.
You had the highest ratings ever for WABC this morning. Congratulations. With President Donald Trump.
Bravo.
And we're working hard, and some of your friends are working hard along with me, making phone calls. Before you leave, we want to have Bibi Netanyahu on your show.
Yeah, John, of course, that would be great. I know that Alan Dershowitz is very, very close with Bibi and others. And what's great, John, about you, and I really do love you, John. Like a father, I love you. What's great about you is all these guys that have connections to President Trump or Bibi Netanyahu, any world leader, they all love you. So when you send out a text that says, hey, get me this guy, they don't kid around. They go right to work. So we do have a lot of very important people people that are very close to Bibi. John, I'll tell you this. I really can't give out the name until tomorrow. But there is a family that is Bibi Netanyahu's largest donor in Israel. In fact, when there are rocket and missile attacks, John, you'll appreciate this, he goes to their house. That's how close they are. They're also huge Donald Trump donors. They split their time between Miami and Israel, and they reached out to the people here in Israel and said, hey, Sid Rosenberg's in town. We want to take him for dinner. So tomorrow night I will be at
Do me a favor. Do not tell anybody what restaurant you're going to be at.
No, it's not. We're going to be at a house. We're going to be in
Oh my God.
Don't say any names.
Yeah, we want you back safe.
We want you back safe. Don't tell people what hotel you're staying at. Don't tell people what restaurant you're eating at.
Exactly.
And don't tell people, Sid, let the record show that I do not support the Paris and Biden.
John,
okay.
The trip started. It was supposed to be me, my beautiful wife, Danielle, my son, Gabriel, and my daughter, Ava, who was, deeply rooted in this battle for Israel, was going to fly here from the UK and meet me. And I can tell you this, after the events that transpired last week, and as tense as it is in Israel this week, the only Rosenberg that is in Jerusalem right now is me. Ava's still in the UK, and Danielle and Gabriel are back safely in Queens. So I'm the only guy here, and there are people that are very...
And I understand you're applying for combat pay.
By the way, Sid, before we let you go, tell us the highlights of what Trump said, because if the folks didn't hear, obviously many were tuning in, but real quick, what did he tell? What did he tell you?
It was a fun conversation, Rita. Trump today, and John, you can attest to this, he was at his very best. I mean, he actually fat-shamed Oprah Winfrey. That's going to be in the news tomorrow, I can promise you that. But just a conversation about everything from Howard Stern to Don Imus to the real stuff, Kamala Harris. Obviously, the way he feels about the Jewish people. We talked about his daughter Ivanka being an Orthodox Jew, his son-in-law Jared Kushner helping him with the Abraham Accords, his grandchildren going to temple on Saturday this week for Yom Kippur. So he made it very, very clear that he called in this morning on this very solemn day, October the 7th, because he cares about the Jewish people. He loves the Jewish people. And look, even his detractors, Rita, have to admit there has never been a president, not Truman, not Reagan, not even Lyndon Johnson. There's never been a president that's been better to the state of Israel than Donald Trump. And certainly he highlighted that today. And, of course, you're not going to get Trump on any day where he's not going to call Biden and Harris stupid or inept. He did plenty of that today, too. So you got all that and more with what I thought was a very, very happy Donald Trump, who was very confident. That electoral map, ladies and gentlemen, is looking very
Sid,
Trump.
hold on a second. We got your mentor on the same phone. Get Alan Dershowitz is on.
Yeah, we've got Professor Alan Dershowitz. And Professor Dershowitz, we got Sid over there in Israel. Professor Dershowitz, your thoughts. First of all, you want to relay a message to Sid in front of a couple million people?
Well, the fact that Sid's in Israel on today makes me feel very good and very strong. I am trying my best to persuade my friend Bibi to do an interview. He's a little busy these days planning for what's going to happen in Iran, but I hope he'll have time so that all of Sid's wonderful listeners can hear Bibi speak directly to them being questioned by Sid. It would be a wonderful, wonderful interview. I hope it happens. I'll keep trying. When I think about Sid, and then I compare him to these Nazi youth, these Hitler youth that are marching right now as we speak, literally 5 blocks away from my house, carrying Hamas signs and Hezbollah signs, anti-American signs, pro-Iran signs. On this day, I'm so ashamed of so many of these young people, and they will be treated by the verdict of history in the same way that the Hitler youth have been treated by the verdict of history for what they did in 1933, 1934, and 1935.
At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's disgusting, Professor Alan Dershowitz, and to see, they are all over New York today, by the way. I mean, of all days, it is October 7th. And just like you said, they are sitting there protesting. They're marching tonight. There are pro-Israel demonstrations, by the way, scheduled in Central Park and Times Square. And already these groups are out there saying they're going to try to disrupt the peaceful. They won't even let them have a 1-year anniversary, Professor Dershowitz.
And who do you think is among them? Some reform rabbis are protesting Israel and are supporting Hamas. And they refuse to commemorate October 7th because they think October 7th was the fault of Israel. These are rabbis, and these are people with beards like Neturei Karta, which are a bunch of insane Jew-hating Jews. But, CNN puts them on the air as if they're typical Jews who are just, having a different point of view. CNN knows better, knows that a lot of these people are anarchists and communists, hate America, hate Israel, hate Judeo-Christian religion, but CNN puts them on and constantly puts them on and put on a doctor today who basically said, well, why are we memorializing the people who were killed on October 7th? They were soldiers. They were combatants. It's the people of Hamas, of Gaza, that are innocent civilians. I mean, the idea that these people have no sense of history or truth. I just finished today my new book about it's going to be given out free, so I'm not trying to make any money here. It's the 10 big lies about Israel. We're printing 1 million copies to be sent to every college student who wants to read it. And it's dedicated to the college students who are standing up and doing what their cowardly professors and administrators are refusing to do. So I'm so proud of these young students at colleges who are risking their careers, who are being downgraded by teachers, who aren't getting recommendations, but they're prepared to stand up for the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sid Rosenberg, I know you're still with us, Sid. What is the reaction over there in Israel when they see these protests taking place at college campuses, even on this day?
It's kind of a mixed reaction. First of all, Alan was on my show this morning, too, and he was great. Alan, I love you. You're such a great, great voice for the Jewish people. But it's kind of mixed. A lot of Israelis would tell you they're not surprised, but they're still disheartened. That's the bottom line. A lot of the Israelis I speak to, and you know this, Alan, they're not from here. They're in Jerusalem now. They're down by the Gaza Strip now, but they're from Chicago. They're from New York. They're from Philadelphia. And they never thought they would see the day where in our country people would march on the streets calling Israelis the bad guys and witnessing an administration, a White House in D.C. that says nothing in the support of Israel. So they're not all that surprised, Rita, to answer your question, but they are certainly disheartened.
Well, and I'm disheartened. I'm disheartened by the presidential candidate of the Democratic Party who won't say that Netanyahu is a good ally. He's the democratically elected prime minister of the country we're closest to in the Middle East. She's repeating her ways when she refused to satisfy her constitutional obligation to preside over the Senate because she didn't like the fact that Netanyahu had been invited by the Senate and the House.
I don't believe she's capable of being commander-in-chief of the United States of America.
Well, I worry that she is the commander-in-chief. She will sell out Israel the way her mentor, Barack Obama, sold out Israel. That's the great fear. And that's why, a lot of people are following my lead who are former Democrats and are leaving the Democratic Party.
Any last words, guys?
Be strong and safe. Sid, be safe, and send my best to Bibi and send my best to Bougie Herzog, great president of Israel. And, the most important thing is you got to be strong. You got to stand up and don't listen to Biden. Do what you have to do, Israel. Do what you have to do. If you have to take out the nuclear arsenal, do that. We'll protect you in the United States.
And Sid, final words from Israel there, my friend.
Yeah, exactly what Alan just said. And quite frankly, Rita, what you said earlier, John said earlier, and the judge, and that is, let's do it. Let's take out their nuclear capabilities. Let's take out their oil fields. Let's render them castrated. Let's just do it. Bibi's ready to do it. Look, he sat back and tried to appease Harris and Biden and the United States. And all it did, quite frankly, was get hostages like Hersh Goldberg killed. That's all it did. It didn't help Israel. It didn't help Americans being held hostage. It hurt us. So Bibi's just got to do what he's got to do, and that is what Alan just said, the oil fields, the nuclear capabilities, wipe it out and render Iran as useless and broke as they were when Donald Trump ran this country.
Yeah, we need to get back there. Guys, thank you very much. And Sid, stay safe.
Thank you, Sid. Sid, stay safe. Alan Dershowitz, we love you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll catch up again real soon.